Stand by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Well, it is Neighbor to Neighbor, 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. How are you doing? Matt Jolley, glad to be here with you on Georgia Radio. Listen, special guest today, Clayton Hackle is on the phone. And if you read the blog article, Clay's just back from Nashville, where he is trying to figure out how to pay the credit card bills and everything else. So go download some music because it's not cheap to go to Nashville and record new songs, is it?
Not at all, Matt. And by the way, thanks for having me on.
This is your radio station. I'm just playing the music every day. You guys starting out, you own the station. I mean, everybody who has the ability and the talent to put out music in the state of Georgia that's good country music like what you folks do, we'll bend over backwards to do anything. I'm just glad you came on. How was it up there going to Music City, USA?
Oh, absolutely incredible, man. I don't know if I've ever felt this inspired coming back from a trip up there. It was incredible.
What do you think turned the page for you?
Man, I don't know. Like, I went up there. I had a lot of family in town. We visited with them. That was great. But I just had a couple of really great recording sessions. I had some original songs I was able to cut while I was there, and also a cover song, and everything just exceeded expectations. I had some great conversations with some of my fellow writers that I got to connect with.
Well, let's talk about that too, because that was pretty cool. I mean, you and Blake were hanging out, a guy that you wrote your latest single with.
Yeah, man. So, man, me and Blake, it's a crazy story. But I've written a few songs with him over Zoom, and we'd never actually met in person. So while I was up, we just we both found the time to kind of cut out and have coffee and meet in person. And we had about a 3-hour conversation. So it was awesome.
That's great. That's Blake Chaffin, right? Chaffin,
yeah,
Chaffin?
Blake. Yeah. Chaffin. Blake Chaffin.
You chafe between your legs, and Chaffin writes the songs. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm familiar to both situations there.
It's summertime in Georgia. We could be sponsored by what was that? Monkey butt rub or whatever.
No, monkey butt. Yeah, that's even better.
Butt. There you go. The good stuff. I love that.
Man.
I love that you went up there, and I love that you got to hang out and actually meet and talk to your co-writer, because. Yeah. Somebody told me one time, they said, you really don't know someone until you've broken bread with them in person. And I think that's so true. You can have a relationship and get to know somebody virtually, but when you really meet and you sit down and you're face-to-face and you're having dinner or coffee or whatever it is, there's something that changes in that. Do you feel like you're going to be able to sit down and write now with Blake and still have the magic?
Yeah, man. So it's insane. The first time we actually talked was on Zoom, and we had, just a goal of writing a song, but this time it was just getting together and catching up and really, I guess, formally meeting each other. But, man, it's almost like a friendship now. I mean, it is a friendship. Somebody once told me, like, Nashville is just all about the relationships, and it's hard to understand that until you get up there and you start figuring out, man, like, relationships is literally the key to everything. And I've tried to just approach that and embrace it. And I realized, like, this past weekend too, man, there's just so many great people up there, and getting to know him and kind of learn what makes him tick, learn who he is as a person, and vice versa. It just creates this, I guess, like, intimacy between us as writers too. So we kind of learn, like, who we are and our preferences, and, how our experiences kind of shaped our lives, and what makes us tick and all that stuff. So that was just, it was really cool, man. I'm grateful to say I know Blake as a writer, but even more so as a friend now. And I think that's going to make our writing relationship even that much better. So
I love it. I really am glad that you got to do that. And where'd you go to coffee at?
This place called Star Bagel. It was actually not far from where he lived.
Yeah,
I
know that's down the kind of the lower west side of town down there.
Yeah. I was staying on the Opry side of town. I had to drive around the city to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, I got friends that live down there by Star Bagel. Been down there, and
Yeah.
good stuff down there. They got good stuff. Well, that's
Oh,
awesome
yeah.
that you kind of got indoctrinated into the city, and it's fun when you go back and you know people, and you can go there and kind of feel like a local. That's awesome. But it sure is nice though to get back down to Metter, isn't it? I mean,
It is, man. Not so much the heat. It was a few degrees cooler up there. That was nice, but I was welcomed very warmly by South Georgia heat.
the blast furnace of the
Yeah.
South. Well,
Yeah,
while you were up
it's
there,
great.
though, I'm sure they cranked the studio down really cool because you were recording a Christmas song.
Yes,
Can
sir.
we say that?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to say it. You were recording a Christmas song. Is this your first one to record, to actually lay down?
Yeah, I've always wanted to record Christmas music and just have not ever really pushed hard in pursuing it. But I've had a song in the back of my head that I wanted to really, chase down, and was able to do it this time. So it's Christmas in July in Nashville, I guess.
It is. It always is Christmas in July. This is the time of year everybody's getting their Christmas stuff together because you don't think about it, but it's great stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the duet partner. You and I've talked about this, but let's just say that one of her former duet partners was Dolly Parton.
Yeah, dude, it was a work of God. I think they put this together, and let me just say, man, the experience we had in the studio, it was so organic. I will say that the track is actually more acoustic driven. There's not a whole lot of fancy production, but there's a lot of raw vocals. And this vocalist, she came in and totally blew me away, and the engineers and everybody else in the room. So it was an awesome day.
That's awesome. Well, I know the song, and I think the song is going to be just perfect for the two of you. And knowing the artist and her voice, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to hear it. And we probably can expect to hear this, I'm hoping, this Christmas.
Absolutely, man. I'm aiming to hopefully release it in November. Of course, everything's tentative at this point, but I'm looking forward to getting that out for sure this year at some point during the holiday season or a little before. I know people like releasing stuff a little early just to get things submitted to playlists and media outlets and stuff like that. But definitely, I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Well, you own a radio station, so you just tell us and we'll play it for you whenever you're ready. And if she can come on too, that'd be great. We'd love to support her, even though she's not from Georgia. This is you're branching out, Clayton, and that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
We're talking to Clayton Hackle this morning, by the way. If you didn't figure that out yet, he's fresh back from Nashville. You can read the blog article that we shared yesterday about his trip, and you can see some pictures on there of the studio. Let's talk about the studio where you recorded this last time, because you have a producer that you really, really enjoy working with.
Yeah. Saxman Studio. It's actually just outside of Nashville in Mount Juliet, still considered Nashville, the greater area, I guess. But Grady he's a musical genius, and over the years we've really got to know each other. He knows me, my brand, and he knows what I look for in production, and his mind's already prepared before I get there. And this time was no exception, man. I went in and also laid down a couple more original songs, and I was honestly just blown away by what we were able to accomplish over at Saxman Studio. So it's awesome, man. It is unparalleled from any other place I've ever worked.
I just think it's fantastic that you were able to sit up there and do that. And as you and me were talking one afternoon, we said, this stuff's expensive. It's expensive to go up to Nashville and to cut a record and to do all this. And you don't have a big label deal. I mean, you're going at this the new way, which is not move to Nashville and live in a one-bedroom studio apartment and work at the grocery store and sack groceries until you make it. I mean, this is hard. You got to rise above the noise. And if it doesn't sound good, nobody's going to listen to it. So you got to spend the money. You got to do it all yourself. Talk to me about that not burden, but it's difficult to release an album because an album's got 10 or 12 songs on it. And right now the market is more like it was back in the 50s, where you'd have an A and a B side and you'd put it out there. They called it a single back then. We call it a single today. but you don't have to have two sides because you're not dealing with vinyl. But same thing. Isn't it?
Yeah, man, it's challenging, but I've learned to really embrace the culture of the music industry right now, and I think that anybody that wants any type of success has to just really embrace it and wrap their head around it. And for me, it's a lot of hard work, but when I look at it, from the bigger perspective, my passion for country music and my drive to write at a high level and record at a high level and perform at a high level, it just overcomes everything. So I'm able to kind of put blinders on. And I know when I go in to record, it's going to be expensive because that's just the way it is. And when you're prepared for it, and when you know what the end result is going to be or what you hope it's going to be, that just drives me forward personally. And it's just one of those things where, there's obstacles in the way. There's going to be challenges, and there definitely has been, but the reward from everything has been way more than the challenges. So
I don't know. One of your heroes and one of the guys I just adore, his music is Alan Jackson. And for the life of me, I cannot imagine Alan Jackson sitting in his truck and miming a 10 or 15 second clip of a song that he had to record in the studio and pay for by himself a few weeks before. I mean, It's so ridiculous what you have to do now on some of these social media platforms to get noticed, like TikTok and all this other stuff. You want to promote a radio station, it's the same thing. There's just some really dumb things that you have to do, but if that's the path that you have to take, then you got to do it. I mean, you just got to do it.
Yeah, man, that part of it is tough for me. I'm an old soul. I grew up without internet in the 90s. I lived on a farm. It was just, I didn't grow up with an iPhone in my hand, so I'm kind of a late bloomer when it comes to technology and all that stuff. But it's definitely, man, it's part of the game. I'm trying to navigate my way through that whole world as we speak. But it all boils down to the music, man.
That's right. So when y'all see Clayton
out there
parked in his old truck down on the dirt road, don't come by there if he's got a camera out, because he's not going to want to do it again. You hear me, Wade Peebles? Don't interrupt him. Just keep on driving.
That's unlike the good old phone call in the middle of a video session.
That's right. What are you doing? Well, I was, believe it or not, I was working on a video. Yeah. Maybe the one that'll push me over the edge.
You never know.
You never know. Hey, listen, thanks for coming on this morning and talking about everything that's going on. People can download and they can buy your music at your website, which is going to be quick linked in the show story, but tell everybody where they can do it.
Yes, www.claytonhackle.com, or you can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and all those good places that music is streamed.
That's just awesome. Clayton Hackle, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this.
Country, that's what I grew up listening to.
Georgia Radio. We love you more than peanuts and peaches. So glad you're here.
Hi, this is Wade Peebles from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. And you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain-finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you.
Matt Jolley, right here on Georgia Radio.
Well, listen, if you have a request for classic country and request this week or next week, send it on over, matt@georgiaradio.com, and I'll be sure to get it on for you. Brother Wade is on the phone right now, and we were talking about him during the segment there with Clayton Hackle. Have you ever seen Clay out on the road and decided to pull over and talk to him in your log truck? Brother Wade.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah, actually, I didn't. I was. My mind was somewhere else there. So yeah. Now say it again. Play it again, Sam.
Play it again, Sam. Have you ever seen Clayton when you're out on the road in your No, not yet. We had a good laugh about you. You'll have to go back and listen to it
I'm
while
a
you're
good one
paying
to laugh
attention
at.
to it.
Yeah, I'm a good one to laugh at.
Yeah. You sent me something the other day, by the way, that was really great. It's a video, and I'm trying to figure out how we can play it on the station. And it's a husband and wife who look to be about 95. They're probably in their 60s.
I think they're both past, but they were around 100 when they went.
Were they really?
Yes.
Well, they look old, but people looked a lot older sometimes back then, so I don't know how old they were.
Well, no, I found the same song, a video on YouTube. I think it was like 40 years ago, and they were pretty old. It was the same song, and they were pretty old then, so I don't know, yeah.
Well, there's something that's just great about it, and it's
a fabulous song, and it's Chris Adams said this the other day after he listened to it. He told me, you know what really made it great was this. It's that talking back and forth is what the song is more than singing. And that couple, older married couple, playing that song and saying that.
Well, we assume they're married
together.
We assume.
Yeah, they were married. Yeah, they were married.
Did you see? Yeah. Did you read the marriage license?
I didn't.
We assume they're married.
Yeah, it said so. It said it was.
Oh, did it? I didn't see that part. Okay.
Yeah, it was. They both had. It was like Wade and Julia Minier, or whatever.
Yeah. They could have been brother and sister.
You getting me stirred up?
I mean,
could be.
They could have.
It might have been. I don't know. It might have been. I don't know anything.
Your bias is coming out, Wade.
Yes,
you
yeah. You're yep. Mm-hmm. You're trying to mess with old Uncle Wade, kind of Uncle Wade's mind. And that's you shouldn't do that.
But it's a great song.
It is. It's a beautiful song, and it just I want everybody that I've talked to that I shared it with, so they had to listen to it several times. They couldn't just listen to it once. It was a very moving and
well, I'm going to figure that
song.
out. So if you want to see it, Wade has shared it on Georgia Folk and Farm Life. It's up there now. You can go and see it. It's I'm up here. I'm just up here in heaven, so I can't sit down.
Well, the thing about it is I've always loved bluegrass and bluegrass gospel, and I thought that, I've in my life been to see many of the old famous bluegrass people, Ralph Stanley and Alton Brothers, many, and I've owned so many old records and tape and listened to so many online that I thought I was familiar with all the bluegrass gospel songs and performers. I had never heard of them, and I'd never heard that song until a member of the group posted it this week, and I was just blown away by it.
Well, and so many of those performers never played in front of a recording device.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, who knows? Yeah, it's lost to history, but
it is.
It almost reminded me of shape note singing.
Yeah, very much. And I mentioned that to Chris the other day, that those two, the old gospel singing and the shape note, the a cappella singing that was in a primitive Baptist church was just a beautiful thing. And if you love it, you love it. I know some people don't like either of those styles of music, but I'm one of those people that moves us in a way that no other music can. And not everyone, I understand that. Not everyone feels that way, but some, if you are akin to that spiritual type music, it touches you on a level that no other music can.
That's pretty cool.
You have to be receptive for it, You have to be receptive.
You're just not open to the Holy Spirit.
Well, it's the truth. If you, some people will listen to a song and say, well, yeah, that's nice. That was pretty good. And I'm disappointed that for their sake, that I want them to, them to share the love and the spirituality of it and the emotion of it as I did.
Yeah.
And not everybody does or can.
Yeah. In the 1970s, there were a lot of teenagers who felt the same way about Kiss.
Yes.
Mom and dad just
didn't understand.
Yeah.
They didn't understand. They don't understand. They didn't want to understand, and they didn't give a, what? It wasn't. You could complain about not being understood, and they never really said, yeah, you're right. And it's going to stay that way. But yeah.
No, that's great. Well, so what's going on the site right now? Because there's a whole bunch to talk about with Georgia Folk and Farm Life. By the way, your show will be coming back. We're just trying to figure out a night that we can record it.
That's
on
right.
Saturday night is when we're going to move the show, because you have to get up at 3 a.m. with the Roosters.
That's right.
And doing it at 8 o'clock in the evening on a Tuesday night, it just doesn't work. So we're going to move the show to Saturday.
What's going on, Georgia Folk and Farm Life? Conway, you see a video, and here's when I posted it. It's kind of a long one, but he got mad with me, and he pitched a little hissy fit, and it's hilarious. I put that video on there.
You're such a mean dog, Dad.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
Got him all riled up, and then
he'll take it out on all his toys and things. And he's like, and he looks up at me like, "This is I could do it.
This is all your fault."
I'm thinking of you when I'm doing this. This is what I'd like to do, but I can do it to this little stuff, but animal, but you won't let me.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah,
we're gonna find you dead in that house.
Yeah, it'll happen. He's gonna kill me one day.
And then we'll come to the door, and we'll be, Brother Wade, are you in there? And then we're Conway's gonna come out with a mouthful of blood like some horror movie, you know, and we'll be like Cujo, right? Yeah. What did you do, Conway? Oh my gosh, Wade. Like the crazy cat lady that everybody thinks they've heard the story about, you know, the one with
that reminds me, that's one of the funniest things I've seen on the news. It's been in recent years, and there was a couple, you remember that couple that called 911, they were locked in the bedroom in a house, and the cat had lost its mind.
I remember that. Yeah. The cat was going crazy.
Fluffy went crazy.
All you can hear in the background is that cat going.
A cat. I think they had a small child. They were locked in the bedroom, and the cat was like trying to take the door down to get to him and kill him. And the guy was calling 911. I'm like, oh, that's just hilarious right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. I don't know what happened to the cat, but yeah.
Well, you got to take care of Conway. We can't have that because you live in a brick home.
Yeah, and ain't no getting in.
You'll be trapped with all the instruments that you don't play, and
that's right,
and all your records. Yeah. We need to donate those someday to, the Music Memories Museum there in Swainsboro, Georgia.
I did when I was younger. I had a good collection of old 78s of old folk music and some of the early stuff and bluegrass and blues. And Dr. George Heaps Nelson, he was a great guy. He was my history professor in college, and I gave him. He had a great collection of that kind of thing, and I gave him my collection to add to his. But haven't had any since. But I have that. If you ever go back and listen to that early music, some of their oldest recordings, there was some amazing talent out there.
There sure was.
Really
great stuff. Well, it's always fun catching up with you. We had Clayton Hackle on this morning. He's talking about some new music that he recorded, and then this duet partner, I can't say her name because we didn't clear it with her yet, but she recorded with Dolly Parton.
Wow. Well, I
Pretty
think
cool.
Clayton's singing and his songwriting ability is impressive. He's just, we were talking the other day, one thing that marks the mark of success is on him. He just got I think it's going to be upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Because he's not lazy.
No, he's not. No,
he'll go and do whatever he has to do to advance his career.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't put the time and effort in. They just wait for it to come to them, And not Clayton Hackle. Clayton is he's doing all what he has to do and what he needs to do and he can do.
He told me he was going to call me last night, and we got together on the phone last night just to set everything up, for this morning's interview and whatnot. And I was out back trying to. One of the gates had come off. It's always something, right? But one of the gates had come off behind the barn, so I was back there. What's the old adage? Every 5-minute job's just one broken bolt away from being a 3-day. So no joke. I'm out. I'm like, yeah, Clayton, let's talk here in like 10, 5 minutes. 5:30 works, so we'll call each other then. And I kid you not, that bolt twisted off right then. So I had to, had to go find another.
I know. A gate reminds me of a funny story. You got time for a funny gate story?
I do, and everybody else should too. We've got just a few minutes left, but go ahead.
Well, I won't name, but it was a family out in here in the country, and I knew them well. They love to do practical jokes. And they had an old fellow that lived on the place, and the guy worked for them and lived in a tenant house. And his wife worked at a shirt factory in nearby town, and she rode to work. They didn't have a car or anything. Or she didn't drive. She rode with a lady to work every day. And being they lived on that place. There was cows. So the fence and gate was way on down in the driveway, and that's where she'd have to go down to be picked up every morning and dropped off in the evening. And the old gate was falling down. It was heavy, and it was no longer, hanging on the hinges. You had to drag it open and drag it shut. And she was tired of that. And so she put her foot down and told her husband, said, if I lay a new gate here out there at the road, when I come home today, I'm leaving you. So he told his employer there, landlord and all, and they spent most of the day building him a brand new beautiful gate, and they hung it up and put it up. And when they were done, he went home and waiting for his wife to come home. And they were big pranksters. They pulled a lot of practical jokes, that man and his son and them. And they didn't know it, but as soon as he went home, they went back over there and took the new gate down and hit it and put the old gate back up.
That's terrible.
So, because you see, his wife saw it was no new gate, and he was sure there was, and was waiting for her to come home happy. She came home mad, told him it was the old gate. He knew it wasn't, but they went back down there, and sure enough, it was the old gate. But they put the new gate back up, and she didn't divorce him. But that was hilarious to me.
I bet she didn't think it was funny.
No, she didn't see any humor at all.
She didn't see any humor.
No.
Found no humor in that at all.
There was another member of the family got married, and while they were supposed to come back to their little honeymoon cottage, and they had a bedroom fixed up and all, and while the wedding was going on, the same bunch, they went up there and took all the furniture out of the bedroom, and took a 2-horse wagon apart and put it back together inside the bedroom. And when they came home, after the service, to go home and enjoy their
newly
wedding
found
night,
freedoms. Yes.
They opened the bedroom door, and all that was in there was a 2-horse wagon.
Well, I've never needed a 2-horse wagon, not today.
No.
That's good fun. Listen, if you want to find more good fun and fun stories from Brother Wade Peebles, you can log on to Facebook, and you can find him at Georgia Folk and Farm Life with over 86,000 of his best friends right there, and it's a good time.
Amen.
And just a great time. I caught up. I had the privilege of hanging out with Harvey Williams Jr. the other day, who just celebrated a birthday.
Yeah, his birthday. Yep.
Happy birthday to Harvey, and Faye and Brock. Got to see them the other day, and we just had we all had a great time. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, we said nice things about you. So
yeah,
good stuff. All right, Brother Wade, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Matt.
You're not in the woods today, by the way, are you?
No, I'm luxuriating in the sunshine on the back porch and about to go in where the air conditioner's on.
Have a glass of sweet tea for me.
That's right. All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Matt. Thank y'all.
Listen, go find Brother Wade on Facebook. Find Clayton Hackle, too, and download some of his music and help that young man out as he makes his way into the country music business. Just some fantastic stuff. Let's see, what else do we have? Tonight, Wednesday night, it's a rebroadcast of classic country and request. But now listen, if there's something you want to hear, send it on over, because I've been known to slide it in if I'm hanging around the barn and I'm in the studio. I'm always happy to do that. Thursday night, Cindy Balcom is back with an all-new Knee Deep in Bluegrass show, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We have a new show coming out that I'll be sure to tell you all about here in the coming days, so be sure and follow the blog right there at georgiaradio.com. Tractors and Troubadours is the name of this new show. Good stuff. Right here on your home for great country music and all the happenings around the Peach State. georgiaradio.com. Glad you're here. So long for now.
Georgia Radio, on your phone, in your home, everywhere you go.